Saul Canelo Alvarez. It's no secret that I consider him the number one best pound for pound boxer today. It's no secret. If you've been following me, this past how many months I've been making YouTube videos now, since I came back after my Boxing Sphere and Igor Warrior channels got removed. I've always said that Canelo is currently, well, actually, even before my channels got removed, years ago, about a year and a half ago now, I believe, I think I had Canelo as number one. And honestly, if you don't have him at number one, you don't know anything about boxing. Actually, I'm gonna steal this statement from Dan Rafael. If you follow him on social media, Dan Rafael used to write for ESPN. I think now he writes for a bunch of other news outlets. But he said right here, and I quote, he said, "Anyone who doesn't have Canelo number one pound for pound at this point is just a straight up hater or an idiot." Well, I wouldn't use the word idiot. I would say they don't know shit about boxing. Those are the words I would use. And honestly, I think so, man. I honestly think if you don't have Canelo at number one at this point, after what he did to Billy Joe Saunders, you're just a hater. Or you don't know about, you're just a casual fan and don't know shit about boxing. I mean, come on. How can you not have him at number one? How? If you look at his resume, 56-1, one and only loss came from Floyd years ago. Years ago. When was that? 2013? Way back in 2013. Since then, he defeated Alfredo Pero Angulo. He had a controversial fight against Lara, arguably that I thought he lost that fight. And then he came back to fight James Kirkland, knocked him out. Then he surprised me. Remember, if you guys have been following me over the years, I was highly critical of Canelo. I didn't really believe in him at that time. Like, I was just like, nah, no way he ain't beating Canelo. But he did. He beat Canelo. And then he knocked out Amir Khan. Then he went on to fight Liam Smith. I know people bring up the weight for this fight. 155, it didn't make sense to me either. But, it is what it is. Same with the Amir Khan fight. I mean, the Amir Khan fight, it was more of an event than more of a fight. But then he went on to fight for the 154-pound title against Liam Smith. Stopped him, knocked him out in 9 rounds. Then he fought his fellow rival, Mexican rival, Chavez Jr., where he schooled him. Chavez Jr. sucks. And then he fought Triple G. Now, this is where people bring up, how can he be number one? He lost to Triple G. He ended up getting a draw against Triple G. And yes, I thought he lost his fight. I thought Canelo lost. I thought it was a close competitive fight. I thought it was very close, but I thought Golovkin edged it by a little bit. You could score a draw. Honestly, there were that many close rounds. That's why I didn't mind the draw. The one I didn't mind at all is this one right here, Adley Bird. The one I mind was the scorecard by Adley Bird. Now, that made it very controversial. 118-110. Bitch doesn't know how to score a fight. But it was still a very close fight. Even though I thought Triple G edged it, I didn't mind the draw at all because it was that close. The next thing you know, in the rematch, now the rematch is a different story. Canelo actually won that fight to me. Yes, he was arguably close too, and I could see you arguing a draw too. But in my opinion, I thought Canelo won that fight. And after that, he went on to move up to 168 against Rocky Fielding, who was the regular champion for the WBA at the time, stopped him in 3 rounds. And then he went on to fight Daniel Jacobs, beating Daniel Jacobs by unanimous decision. In my opinion, I thought Canelo won. Then he knocked out Kovalev. Now, that was a spectacular win. Then he went on to defeat Callum Smith, who was arguably the best super middleweight at that time, after he won the World Boxing Super Series tournament. Stayed busy fight against Avni Yildirim, where he knocked him out in 3 rounds. And now he gave Billy Joe Saunders his first loss in his pro career. How can you not have him as number one pound for pound? Give me a resume that's better than this right now. Today, what have you done for me recently? That's what you should be thinking about when you think about all the other top fighters. And Canelo has done a lot for me recently. In the past 2 years, he's done this already. 245 against top competition, and he defeated them. Honestly, how can you not have him as number one? If you Google top pound for pound boxers, if you Google it, if you look at uh, some of these websites, Wiki recognizes this five websites: Ring Magazine, the Boxing Writers Association of America, and the TBRB, Transnational Boxing Rankings Board, which I think Teddy Atlas recognized a lot, and ESPN. If you go to Ring Magazine, wait, hold up, this is not the website. What the heck? I thought it goes to the actual website. Let me just search it up. Ring TV, all right? Let's go to the Ring TV real quick. Let's go to their pound for pound ratings. And they have Canelo at number 1. They have Inoue at number 2. They have Terence Crawford number 3, Usyk at number 4, Spence at number 5. Don't get me wrong. All these fighters they have in their top 10 are spectacular fighters. But Canelo is just ahead, man. He really is. He's ahead. These fighters just haven't been that active. They haven't fought that many top competitors as Canelo has in the past couple of years. But all these guys are great fighters. I mean, don't get me wrong. But they're all undefeated for a reason. Look at these guys. Inoue undefeated, Crawford undefeated, Usyk undefeated, Spence undefeated, Lopez undefeated. All undefeated for a reason, but they haven't fought the same amount of high-level opposition around their weight division compared to Canelo. If you look at ESPN's rankings, let's go to ESPN real quick. I think oh my god, they better change it by now. Please have it change. Please have it change. Oh, they still have. Okay, they still haven't updated it, but they still have Terence Crawford at number 1. Come on. Kell broke his last fight. November 14. In that time period, Canelo has already fought 3 times. Since November. He fought in the past 6 months, he already fought Callum Smith, Abney Yildirim, and Billy Joe Saunders, giving Smith and Saunders their first losses. If they don't put him at number 1, ESPN just haters, man. I mean, they're already haters by not having him at number 1 to begin with. They better have him at number 1 the next time they do this rankings. Who's freaking voting for this? Let's have. Come on, Teddy Alice. How can you have Crawford number 1? Andre Ward has Crawford number 1. Come on. You just have all these people who works with ESPN, and Crawford works closely with ESPN. So obviously they feel more connected to Crawford, and they put Crawford at number 1. But come on, no way. No way is Crawford number 1. And I think the other websites out there are the. Let me search the Boxing Writers Association of America. Let's see what their rankings. Where is their pound for pound list? I have no idea where the pound for pound list is. Huh. Interesting. But I think they have Alvarez at number 1, Canelo, according to Wiki. But I don't know how updated this is. According to Wiki, they have him at number 1. Interesting. As for Transnational Boxing Board, Boxing Rankings Board, let's see who they have. I think they better have Canelo as number 1. Yep, they have Canelo number 1, Inoue number 2, Crawford number 3, 4 Usyk, 5 Spence, 6 Tyson Fury, 7 Estrada, 8 Triple G, 9 Lopez, 10 Chocolatito. Not bad. That's not a bad list in my opinion. I think that's a very reasonable list. And think Boxer. Box Rec. Box Rec's probably. It's so weird how they rank fighters. If you look at the rankings, they base it on points, and their points depends on who you fight, who you lose to, and who you beat. And look how far ahead Canelo is compared to Tyson Fury. Canelo is like almost 1,000 points ahead of Tyson Fury. That's how much far ahead he is. But yeah, the point system for BoxRec doesn't make sense in a way. But I guess they at least they recognize Canelo at number one. Because in my opinion, Tyson Fury ain't number two, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, I don't know. Am I the only one who's thinking this? Me and Dan Rayful? If you don't have Canelo as number one pound for pound, it's either you're a hater or you don't know shit about boxing. I mean, come on. Like, give me an argument of why you think Canelo isn't number one pound for pound. Give me. Because I can't think of anything else. I mean, people say he's docking this fighter and that fighter. Oh, he's fighting top fighters. All these other fighters are just waiting for him to pick them. Caleb Plant, Charlo, Benavidez. All these guys are just waiting on Canelo to pick them so that they can get a massive payday. They're the guys who are waiting. They're just waiting for Canelo. Demetrius Andrade. Fight with nobody. You want payday? You want payday? They all just want them paydays, man. Canelo, man. Canelo. Man, 5 years ago, I honestly wouldn't think I'd be this big of a Canelo fan. I mean, I've always been a fan, but man, I'm a much massive more fan now these days. Crazy. I'm liking, man. I'm liking the way he speaks English now. I'm liking the way he goes out there and just shut up all these haters and shut up all these fighters that talk crap leading up to fights like Billy Joe Saunders. Loving it. I'm loving it. I don't know. I'm just enjoying this Canelo era right now. I'm enjoying it. It's Canelo's era, man. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Like always, have a great day. Alright, thanks.